Basically, an atom is a tiny ball of mass that makes up every element that has ever existed. The idea that everything in the universe is made up of smaller units has been around for a really long time, like more than 2,000 years. Over these years, our idea of what an atom looks like and its makeup has changed a lot. Scientists are constantly working to prove theories and find out more about what some call the building blocks of the universe. One of the first people to really delve into the idea of the atom was a man named Democritus. Democritus was born in Abdera, Greece around 460 BCE, though no one is really quite sure of the exact date because it was so long ago. Whenever he was born, Democritus was born into a pretty wealthy family, which allowed him to be taught by some of the best tutors and philosophers of his time. In the time of Democritus, a lot of people believed in the idea of atomism. Atomism is the belief that everything in the universe is made up of smaller things, which actually has a lot more to do with philosophy than with science.
Democritus' theory was based on atomism, so he believed that atoms were the smallest particles that existed. He believed that atoms were physically inseparable. His theory also revolved around the physical connectivity of atoms and how they bonded to form the rest of everything in the universe. Basically, when he saw atoms, he pictured small spheres floating around and bonding to each other, and basically just chilling. Oh, and he thought they were invisible.
Now, the rest of the world still had a very different view from Democritus. They still felt like the deep, philosophical sense of atomism was really where it's at. A big believer of this version of the original theory of atomism was the Greek philosopher Aristotle. In his time, science was very much a part of philosophy, so it totally made sense that a scientific belief would have philosophical roots.
Aristotle did not believe in the atomic theory of Democritus. He actively taught otherwise with his basis on the four elements. He thought that all materials on Earth were made up of four elements: earth,
fire,
water,
and air.
He believed that the four existed in harmony.
Then, one day, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Yeah, no. Actually, Aristotle believed the four elements were equal. His theory became so popular that it led to Democritus' theory being overlooked for the next 2,000 years. Many people liked Aristotle's ideas. Sometimes that happens when people like Democritus are just too hipster and ahead of their time.
Now, the theory of the atom stayed the same for a pretty long time. In the 18th century, more and more scientists began studying matter and other scientific stuff and coming up with their own theories. They built off of Democritus' original idea. John Dalton, born in 1776 in Cumberland, England, and in addition to Democritus, he took into account the recently proven laws of definite proportions and conservation of mass.
Dalton's theory was composed of four main points. The first was all matter is made of atoms. Atoms are indivisible and indestructible. The second, he believed all atoms of a given element are identical in mass and properties. The third, compounds were defined as substances formed by a combination of two or more different kinds of atoms. And the fourth, he determined a chemical reaction is a rearrangement of atoms.
The next scientist to add a major contribution to the atomic theory was J.J. Thomson. Thomson conducted experiments with cathode rays in 1897. His model had negatively charged electrons dispersed throughout a positively charged mass, the proton. It kind of looked like a cookie dough ball, where the electrons would be the chocolate chips and the dough would be the proton. His model is often called the plum pudding model, but we decided that cookie dough was a whole bunch cooler. The next leap in the atomic theory didn't take long. The next two dudes to help out the atom were born around the same time, in very different parts of the world. Ernest Rutherford was born in New Zealand in 1871, and he did all sorts of really awesome physics stuff. He was also a student of Thomson. The other guy, Erwin Rudolf Joseph Alexander Schrödinger, was born in 1887 in Austria. He also contributed a great deal to science in his lifetime.
Rutherford believed that electrons, those small blue pieces of paper, orbited a dense nucleus of protons, the red ones, in circular patterns similar to early solar system models. However, Schrödinger theorized that electrons moved in an electron cloud. The electron cloud was used to describe a wide range of possible locations of an electron around an atom.
In 1922, a Danish physicist named Niels Henrik Bohr received the 1922 Nobel Peace Prize in Physics for his work on atomic structures.
Bohr believed that energy levels of atoms are separate. So basically, when a little negative electron gets a bunch of energy, it jumps up to the next rung in the circular ladder, like this. This became a starting point for what is now known as the old quantum theory.
The current atomic theory is the quantum mechanical model and the Bohr model. They contradict each other sometimes. But theories are like that.
The quantum mechanical model is based on quantum theory. That says, matter also has properties associated with waves. So rather than the electrons living in a circular cloud around the nucleus, the cloud makes shapes, like these. An electron can exist anywhere in this cloud, and every element has its own shape.
So, that's the atom. It's come a long way and changed a lot. From the days of early atomism all the way up to the quantum mechanical model, it's been something that people have been trying to figure out. And even if modern scientists don't totally believe in everything that was first theorized about the atom, they could never have learned what they now know without the help of the original atom.